Hello students, welcome to the class of science. Today we will be talking the last part of our topic synthetic fibers and plastics. Now what is the last part all about? The last part that we are going to see is about the plastics. So similarly, like synthetic fibers, they are made up of different polymers, different smaller units. These plastics are also made up of smaller units. In the picture you can see the arrangement of these units, which are of shape given as the square shapes. These square shapes are actually the arrangement of these molecules is linear and cross-linked. These are the smaller units from which a plastic is made, similar to your synthetic fibers. You can see it in the picture that there is linear arrangement and there is cross-linked arrangement. Okay, cross-linked arrangement of these molecules, and these molecules makes your plastic molecule. Plastics are easily available. They can be molded into any form. Anything can be prepared out of these plastics, and they can be melted into sheets as well as into wires. So plastic everywhere, you can see nowadays that all the things around you are made up of plastics because of their use and easy availability, as well as the rates are less and they can be molded into any form. Hence these plastics are used for making all sorts of things nowadays. So in the next slide you can see there are some pictures through which these pictures of from which are prepared from the plastics. These pictures you can see, that is the chair, you have the slide, buckets, cycle and baskets. These are all prepared from the plastics. Even the electric switches, the TV, television, laptops, these are all prepared out of the plastics. So we will move to our next slide, which is based on the concept of classification of plastics. Now plastics are classified into two major categories. That is, the first one is the thermoplastic and the second one is the thermosetting plastics. Okay, so what are these thermoplastics? Thermoplastics are those plastics which can be deformed easily when heating. When they are heated, they can be deformed, they can be melted and they can be converted into any object. Such plastics are called as the thermoplastics. One of the example is polyethylene and PVC. What is polyethylene? Polyethylene is those bottles which plastic bottles which through which you take different types of liquids like waters, juices. These are all made up of polyethylene material. PVC is polyvinyl chloride pipes. Those pipes are used for water transportation, that are all your drainage pipes, and all these are made up of PVC. So what are they? They are the thermosetting plastics. That is, when they are heated, they can be converted, they can be deformed into anything. Such plastics are said to be the thermoplastics. Now what are thermosetting plastics? Thermosetting plastics are those plastics which cannot be deformed. That is, once they are heated, they are not deformed by heating. They cannot be reused. For suppose you have examples are your Bacalite and Melamine. Now before going to Bacalite, I would repeat the definition of these plastics, that is thermosetting plastics. These plastics are those plastics which cannot be molded or deformed on heating, we call such plastics as thermosetting, and those plastics which can be molded or deformed we call as thermosimple plastics. Thermoplastics. Thermo is heat. Plastic. Okay, so the name itself tells thermoplastic and thermosetting plastics. Now, examples of thermosetting plastic is Bacalite and Melamine. So what is a Bacalite? Bacalite is a poor conductor of heat as well as electricity. It is mostly used in your electric switches. So these electric switches are made up of which plastic? That is Bacalite. Okay. So they are poor conductor of heat, that is why they are used there. Our next type of plastic is melamine. What is a melamine? Melamine is actually a versatile material. It is heat resistant, then it can resist fire, and it can be used for various purposes, like it is tough and strong enough. So these plastics is mainly used in your kitchens because they are fire and heat sensitive, as well as nowadays you can see there are some plastics we are using during cooking. They did not get melt. That is because their ability to defend for the heat. They can defend themselves from the heat, and that is the reason they are used in making kitchenwares, and even some floors are made up of these plastic that are melamine. So let us go move ahead to our last part, which is I would discuss the plus points of plastic in a very short way. The first point is plastics are not reactive. Suppose if I am using an iron tawa. This tawa is, when exposed to air, moisture, it is going to get rusted. But plastics are opposite. They are not rusted or not affected by these parameters like moisture and air. So they are not reactive. Our second point is they are light, durable, and they are strong. And hence we can find a lot of things around us which are made up of these plastic, because of they are light, durable, and they are strong enough. They are poor conductors of electricity, and hence they are used in lot of you can see where there are electric connections, you will find a plastic near to it, because it is a poor conductor. It can resist the electricity and heat. Okay, poor conductors of heat. They are plastics and environment. Now, what is the relation between a plastic and environment? As you know that plastic is dangerous for environment because it takes near about 100 to 500 years for its degradation. So it is actually a non-degradable material, and hence nowadays we find that everywhere there are plastics and they are not easily degradable in the environment. And as a good citizen of our country, we should decrease the use of plastics, because plastic is very, very harmful for the environment, and it is polluting the environment. Some animals, they eat plastic and they die. So the use of polythenes and these bottles, they are indirectly hampering the plant as well as the animal life around. So these plastics should not be used. Those substances which are degradable, we call them as biodegradable. Examples are the leaves, stems, then some fibers like cotton, they degrade. Okay, so these are degradable, which can be decomposed into the soil. But plastic is such a material which is not degradable. It takes 100 to 500 years for its degradation process. So in this slide you would observe that I have written 5R principles. What are these 5Rs? 5R, the R stands for, what are those 5R? First is reduce, then recycle, reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover and refuse. These are 5Rs which every citizen should follow to protect our earth from this harmful pollution of plastics. Okay, so reduce, that is reduce the use of plastics. Reuse, keep on using the older plastic. Do not buy any plastic, so that what we are doing, we are promoting the growth of plastic industries. So we need to stop it to a certain limit. So reuse it. Whatever things they are, you can find it around. Try to mold it and convert it into some new material instead of going and purchasing those plastic materials. So reuse it. Then is recycle. Recycling can be done by many of the plastics, as they are thermoplastics. They can be recycled and converted into new plastic materials. Recover and refuse. Refuse is for, we have to refuse the use of plastic. We have to ban the use of plastics, and then only we can save our earth from the plastic pollution. When the plastic burns, it releases a huge amount of smoke in the air with full of some harmful gases. This is indirectly polluting and creating air pollution. So in this way, this plastic is, even though it is having many plus points, these are the major drawbacks of using a plastic. I hope, children, you have understood these all concepts related to the plastics. And this was all for today. We will meet in our next video with a new topic. Thank you, children. Stay home, stay safe.